Welcome to another episode of Fougere Family Adventures. Today, I am going to show you the features that I use on my Garmin Striker 4. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. You'll see here, I'm in 40 feet of water. That's my battery strength, 13.3 volts, and this is the time, 9:33. Down here is the transducer type that I'm hooked to, and this is the frequency that I'm on. Now, frequency will change based on the width of your cone. All of these buttons here can be useful. This is the power button, so this is how we turn it on. This is our back button right here, so we'll press this for back. This is our cursor key to get around. This is how we select things. This is our menu button, and this is our GPS location button. Most of the time when I'm fishing, I like to have my zoom on manual. When you turn the Striker 4 on, it'll automatically go to automatic range. This is the range setting here. So what I like to do, press the back button, you just use these cursor keys and it puts you in manual mode right away. So if you want to zoom in, you can quickly zoom in, and then you're looking at the top 20 feet of the water column. Now here in this example, I'm going to zoom out. I want to see all the fish from 40 feet to the surface. Now if you can see this, we have some interference here on the screen. To get rid of that, you can press the menu button and select your gain. Now right now the gain is set to auto high. I am going to select it, and I can cursor back and forth. You can select auto high, auto medium, auto low. But my personal preference is to go up and manually adjust my gain. You could do this until most of the interference is gone. Or if you want to see a little bit of the interference, you can turn it up. I prefer somewhere around 87 on mine. But you can see here, this could be bait fish coming in, or this could be smaller kokanee, which I believe it is. Or you turn it down to get rid of them. Back to the main menu. The next option is frequency. When you select this, you can select chirp or 200 kilohertz. If you select chirp, that's great. It'll automatically adjust your beam width, and I play with beam width more than I do frequency. If I want to look out to the side, all I have to do is adjust my beam width wider, and I have a wider cone. If I want a narrower cone, I just adjust it, as you can see on the top, and I can go to a 16-degree cone and it automatically adjusts my frequency. I prefer, like I said, if I'm by myself especially, a 24-degree cone. Now zoom is a feature that I don't use very often in this menu. You can select bottom lock right here, and you can adjust the distance from the bottom that you want to see. So if you adjust it up here, you can go 25, 28, 30, or you can go all the way down and you could take a look at just the bottom. Now on the Garmin Striker 4, fish show up as big blocky objects, depending if you're on rocky bottoms. It can be very hard to read. I don't always use this option, but if I am burbot fishing, I do use it once in a while. Manual zoom is great. If you're fishing a deeper lake and you're fishing for kokanee, you can actually select your range in the water column that you want to fish. Up here you have zoom and depth. You can zoom a wider surface, so you can open it up. You can narrow that down a bit. And if you want to select the depth, you can actually move this down, and it will move it, say for example here, from 10 feet to about 25 feet. So you're only looking at that portion of the water column. Select it, and you can see on the fish finder 10 feet to 25 feet, even though I'm in 40 feet of water. This is a very valuable tool to use when you're targeting kokanee or suspended fish and you only want to see a portion of the water column. I never use overlay numbers. Sonar setup. You could choose a depth line, your scroll speed, so how fast it's running across your screen. You can select it here, and the objects will scroll slower. I prefer a faster scroll speed myself. You can change your appearance. Here you can actually change your color, the background. You can go to a classic white and go back. You can have a classic white on your fish finder if you want to see that. Sonar setup, you can also select your A-scope. Now, a lot of people have asked about A-scope. This is where you turn it on and turn it off. So if we turn it off and we go back to the main screen, you'll see there's no bar on the side. I like to put A-scope on because that will show you real-time fish coming in. Turn it on, go back, go back, go back. There you see that extra column, and that is where the fish, it'll mark them as they're coming in. Another option here, when you switch from your ice fishing transducer to your boat transducer, you want to select transducer type. So you'll find this transducer type in the sonar setup screen. You select it here. You find out which model of transducer you're using. And in this case, I'm using the GT8HW, and it's already been selected. So those are some of the features in traditional sonar setup. Those are some of the things that I use the most. It's right off of your main screen. You can quickly get to them. Again, range. I'm usually selecting a manual range. Gain. I'm usually manually selecting my gain to get rid of interference. You can turn it right up if you'd like, or you can turn it way down. It's entirely up to you. Frequency. This is what we talked about with chirp. I usually don't go into the screen very often because when you select your beam width, which I usually use at 24, if you want a narrower cone and you want more detail, you want to look deep in the water, you can go down to a 16-degree cone, get more detail. And zoom, like we talked about, if you want to fish burbot, bottom lock, auto, split zoom. This manual zoom is one of the most valuable because you can choose your depth. So we can zoom here like this, and we can make this rectangle, this search pattern, wider or narrower. And then we go down to depth, and we can actually move this rectangle, the search pattern where we're looking in the water, up and down. So it's very valuable. You can see it move. If you're searching for kokanee suspended over, say, 100, 200 feet of water. This is the main menu on the Garmin Striker 4. Traditional fish finder is the one I use the most. You have a flasher option. So if you're looking to use it like an ice flasher, you can. I prefer not to because I like to see the history. So if you go traditional, you can see the history scrolling this way, and you can see real time like a ice flasher right here. The next option you can choose is split frequency. I find the screen on the Garmin Striker 4 is a little too small for this, so I don't use that. Waypoint map is quite useful. I can select my waypoint map, and I can actually cruise to all my waypoints on open water when I'm ice fishing. It shows your direction of travel on your boat. And this is very valuable because if you are fishing, if you're on your traditional screen and you're fishing and you mark some fish, you press this GPS button right here, and this will actually add a waypoint in to your map. So you press it, and it adds a waypoint. You can edit this waypoint, delete it, you can name it, you can give it symbols, whatever you like. I typically don't do that, but the moment you hit this waypoint button is the moment it marks a waypoint on your map for you. So if you ever go back to the lake you're fishing, you just go to waypoint map. Where was that spot? there it is. You're right on top of your same spot you were before. Some of the main settings on the Garmin Striker 4 are the main menu. So you want to select Settings. The first one's System. On the system, you have Display, Beeper, GPS, Power, Language, System Info, and Simulator. The display is a very valuable section. Backlight. So when it's very bright out, you can actually adjust your backlight. You can go dim, you can go bright. Use this on a sunny day, or use this when you are burbot fishing in your tent at night and you don't want to see too much light and you want to try and conserve some battery. Color mode, day and night colors. You've got different colors here. Be very careful if you select that during the day. It can be very hard to find the menu again in the daytime. So that is the main option that I use in the system setting. For my vessel, transducer type, you can select it here as well. You can select your alarms through navigation. I don't typically use any of these alarms, but these are some of the alarms that you can set. So some people will say set this for fish, and if it marks a fish, it'll beep. I don't really care to listen to that all day. Or if you're fishing and you want to mark shallow water, you can actually set your setting. If you're getting into 5 feet, 10 feet, you can adjust everything from here. I don't typically use that because I'm in a smaller boat. I can see the bottom. Some people like to adjust their units. This screen, you'll find all your units.